Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. So today we are together for a new stream. Apologies for the beginning. It was a little slow because we had some technical issues with YouTube, but now it's fixed. And I'm Manuel Sensili, your host for today. I'm an advocate at Unity, and I'm joined by Laurent Gilbert, Director of Product at Unity. And today it's about diplomacy is not an option. And we are joined by the rest of the team. I'm going to let Laurent introduce himself quickly, and then we'll pass the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Manu. Super glad to be here with everybody again for another live stream. I love doing those things. It's always amazing, like to see all the kind of crazy ideas game developers come up with. I'm director of product. I'm leading a team of product managers around particularly the areas of dots and multiplayer. And yeah, pretty excited to see what we're going to see today.
Awesome. So for the studio today, Door 407, and they make amazing RTS games. Diplomacy is not an option. If you never heard about it, you're going to learn everything about it today. And we're going to start with a little gameplay trailer just before we start introducing our guests. What an amazing trailer. Thank you so much. And so we are joined today by Dora 407 with Sergey and Andrei. I'll quickly pass the mic to Sergey first. Please introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm Sergey, I'm CTO and lead programmer in Dora 7. I loving games, RTS games, loving dots, because we first saw this, it was just amazing. And well, loving Warhammer 40k.
Amazing. What about you, Andrei?
My name is Andrei, and I'm co-founder of Dora 407. We started to create games 2010, and I hope that I will say about us everything nearest minutes.
And I have to say, like, I'm so glad that we're doing this now, because initially we had discussed, like, hey, let's get together, do a live stream on ECS and Dots. That was, I think, like early 2022 or something like that, because those folks have been like using ECS for so long ago. And we lost the opportunity, it was complicated, and then, time has passed. So I'm super, super glad we're getting together today.
And I'm glad you were able to join too, Laurent. More people, more fun. So, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, guys? How did the studio get started? Where did you start, and why?
Let's describe who we are. We have two co-founders, me and the main co-founder, Oleg Sakharov. He's not here with us today, but he, I hope, see this stream. And we've met with him in 2003. So 21 years ago, in one room in student campus in student dorm. And so the number of this room, it was 407. So the name of the company when everything was started. So from this time till 2009, we played a lot of strategy games, different other games, and studied. And in 2009, we graduated. He was a quantum physics, magister of quantum physics, and I was an engineer of microelectronics. And after 1 year, when I came into business development in microelectronics, Alex started to develop his first strategy game. And 2010, I think, he came to me and asked, Andrew, we develop a game, the game of our dream. And we are tired, our main programmer tired, he wants some food. Help us to find $20,000, and in 6 months we will finish the game. Only 6 months. At that moment I already earned enough, calculated, and okay, Oleg, I know you, I know what you can do, and let's say I will give this money, and let's say I will become part of this company, part of this idea of this game. And it was end of 2009, early 2010. 6 months passed. I didn't see any game. So the game was finished only 2014. It was, I don't know, at least 10 times more the budget. And not 6 months, but 4 years in the 6 months. long story. The name of this game, it was Ancient Planet. We redeveloped it at least 3 or 4 times.
The tower defense.
It's tower defense, mobile, also on PC, but the main idea it's mobile for Google and for Google Play, for Android, and for iOS, of course. And the funny thing about this game, Ancient Planet, that when we launched it 2014, it was not really successful. It gave us some investments back, but we didn't succeed. But almost 5 years later, 2019, I think, Google changed the mechanics, algorithms of promotion games in Google Play. And we caught this tail, put some money in advertisement, and went to a plateau of organic traffic, and we became earn at least $100,000 per month organically.
Wow.
After 5 years without doing nothing. Just Google helped us, and it's created for us some finance pillow, which helped to create the game that we are showing today. The second funny thing that 2015 we tried to find some to raise some investments, and we've got a lot of no from everybody. From funds, from angels, we couldn't raise any money. So we've done by ourselves. But 2022, I think, it was like January, Gabe Newell, the founder of Wealth company of Steam, gave interview to some New Zealand newspaper. And he was asked, okay, Gabe, what play do you play right now? And he said back something like, you will be funny and everybody will funny about me, about Gabe, that he's obsessed about small indie game named Ancient Planet. That day I had a lot of calls from every fund that I worked before, but at that moment we already didn't needed any money, so we didn't took anything. So if to come back a little bit, 2015 we tried to raise money, we could not do it. So 2016 we began to develop our next title. It was like Fallen Empire or some other name, I don't remember exactly. Firstly it was mobile game. I don't remember, Sergey, did you already
join at the time?
No, I joined
later.
in 2017.
Okay. So we tried for at least almost 2 years to develop a mobile game. So it's a lot of money gain from own pockets without any help, outside help. And in 18 or 2 years, my main co-founder came to us and said to me, Andrei, we develop this build, it's alpha version, and it's don't give us any chance to succeed again on mobile market. So I see some opportunity on PC. Let's do PC game. That moment I think that Sergey already was with us, and we launched new development almost from the scratch of a new game on PC. After 18 or 24 months again, Alek again came to me. Andrei, we develop a new build and I don't see any key features that will compete with our competitors. So we need to do something different. We saw Unity launching right now the new engine, Unity Dots.
Yeah, that's
Yes, and we think that it will give us really big opportunity to create great game. So push everything that was developed before in the trash bin.
Just bring that back.
Yes,
art assets.
Yes, and we will do great game. It was really a tough decision, but okay. Take your time. Patient. We need.
We need some patience, right?
Yeah, patient. And 2021, I think we put it we opened this page, Steam page. Create some trailers. What could be in the game, main mechanics, a lot of massive battles, and for first 2 months we've got a lot of different offers from publishers. Every scouts from publishers came to us and said, take our money, we will help you, what do you need? So it's also again a new funny thing. There was 2 funny things about Ancient Planet. And here is one funny thing about diplomacy is not an option. We signed agreement with some publisher they bring us a lot of how to say, a lot of ideas, a lot of their background. It was really great job.
Yeah, they was
during
very
1 year.
involved.
They helped us as a producer, as a testers. Great guys. Thank you. If you will see the stream. And after 1 year, also they covered our costs in development monthly. So we had a financing from them. And after 1 year, their mother company was bought by big platform. They came to us several months later and said, guys, we could not publish you. Sorry. There was some negotiation, but at the end of this negotiation, that they could not publish us. They gave all rights us back and covered by and gave us more money, covered more our development for 1 more year. So we finished the development, and 9 February 22nd, we launched the early access version on sales on Steam. At this moment, we have right now something like 500,000 wish lists and already sold more than 300,000 copies on Steam.
Wow.
Yes, this year, this September, we'll announce nearest days. We will launch full release 1.0. And if to compare, early access version had only 2 or 3 missions, 2 modes, sandbox and challenge. It was quite a small trailer, first pilot of a serial. And full game will be at least 100 hours of gameplay in campaign.
Yeah, main story.
40 different missions in different waves how to pass it. And it will be really narrative different stories which could change.
And gameplay.
Gameplay, sorry, yes, which will be changed during your playing, and depends on your decisions. So it will be a really huge game, and we think that 1 million copies more we will sell at least.
Wow.
Finger crossed.
That's really amazing.
It's a
like
short
to-
story. I hope I didn't forget anything. And one more thing, that due to we began development on Unity Dots, one of first companies. It's second funny thing about diplomacy is not an option.
There
Joachim
wasn't
Ante,
even dots.
yes, Joachim Ante, co-founder of Unity. He also was our technical advisor, and it's for us. It was like wow. Thank you.
It's a pretty incredible story, and it's really also great to hear like some good, story about going early access and being able to raise the, necessary funding you need to actually get the full like game together. That's really cool. And I'm hearing like 100 hours of story or driven like gameplay, campaign gameplay, but like I guess it's thousands of potential hours still in sandbox mode and
Yeah.
all of that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Right
would
now,
say. Keep going, Andrei.
Right now, our fans played already in the game 400, 500. So it could
Yeah,
be
we have one.
replayable.
If you look on reviews for in our on Steam for our games, you will see one review from one guy. He played our game already in early access around 2,500
What?
hours. Yep, in a sandbox and endless mode, etc., etc. Yeah.
I think that's the best when you have a game that not only have a great campaign, but a lot of playful time on your own. I remember playing Warcraft 3 hours and hours outside of the main campaign. And to me, that's
Right.
the Saint Graal of RTS. But when I look at the trailer for your game and when I hear 100 hours of campaign, that's insane. It's amazing to think also
be
that
big.
the way that the user will play will change that story. So theoretically, it's actually almost infinite amount of fun.
Yeah, sure. Especially when you have different ways of playing missions, there will be branches, not just straight line, like straightforward campaign. You will have some, not some, but many sort of you will choose many times. Depends on your vision, how you feel yourself, and depends on how you played previous missions. You'll think, okay, what should I pick here? This or this?
There is someone in the chat called Lurking Ninja that says, I religiously read everything about this game since 2018. So you have long-lasting fans that are just here.
Yeah, I remember Lurking Ninja and the different people on the Unity forum because I've wrote a thread, pinned a thread on the Unity forum. It's in 2018, I believe. Yep, and it's most this thread have highest watch count on Dots forum. most views from the people.
Thank you for that. So now let's talk a little bit more about Dots. What is Dots? First of all, Laurent, maybe you can give us the explanation.
Well, I suspect actually like Andrei and Sergey might know even more about that than I do because I actually joined the team like after they've been already like putting a game together, which is absolutely insane. But let's do the short story of like the general product, aspect of it. Unity has been like an engine for a long time and it's doing many great things. But at some point, like we've just been hitting the limits of what the architecture of that engine could actually realize in terms of scale of gameplay and complexity of simulation. So we needed to like introduce something different to be able to push back those limits and get into bigger games, more complexity, like so many more characters than, you could put a screen similarly to what we're going to see like in a few minutes in the game. And that's how Dots came together. It's not something that is new as a concept in the game technology market. One big element of Dots is ECS, Entity Component System, and that's a framework that is widely used in AAA game productions in general. And so we wanted to bring one implementation of that to the market in Unity, so game developers and small studios could get to more scalability, greater games, more complexity, without having to reinvent the wheel all the time. So that's what Dots is.
Thank you. And so when it comes to the ECS system, maybe Sergey, your time.
Yep. Let's do a small recap of pre-Dots era of what Andrei said. There were two global iterations before our move to Dots. First, it was a mobile game like Clash of Clans, sort of Clash of Clans. Then cross-platform between mobile and WebGL, also in Unity, of course. It was pre-Dots era. Then, you can see now how it looked at the app before. Some early versions, early prototypes. Nostalgia. Yep, and there was our artist prototypes of our visuals. And despite of its mobile nature, these visuals look pretty decent, even for PC. If you look at this right now, it's just cute for my look. And game was classic OP, mono behavior based, with all this burden we've used it for years with Unity. And then Dots era came in. Unity shows ECS, C# job system, and C# compute compiler, currently named Burst compiler. Before it had a different name, at the end of 2017. And then in March 2018, there was a GDC, I believe, where Nordeus showed their demo of fighting sites. And it was first public release of Dots packages, I believe. Yep, right. Yeah, at GDC at March 2018. And after a short talk with Andrei and Oleg, we decided to go a bank, postpone current version release, and try to jump to this cutting-edge train. And our initial approach was, let's call it hybrid. And there's still no strict rule what is hybrid in context of Dots from Unity side, from community side. But yeah, there's some common points everyone is agree when you call about hybrid Dots.
Yeah, it's actually like something we've been having so many conversation on forums and everywhere about like this hybrid aspect. And we at some point we just stopped calling it hybrid because
Yeah.
100% of game developers will do a mix of game object and ECS. So we basically paused and put aside the idea of having the entirety of Unity being data oriented, and also realizing that some game developers like you just give us the feedback that ECS is not always the best implementation for everything. So I like would just embrace the fact that every game is going to have some mix of game object and data oriented ECS pieces.
Yeah, and it's still the case, even diplomacy is not an option. There were not many common game systems built in Unity at those times. It's like navigation had the bare bones, no animation, no physics in 2018. And well, initially it was hard to switch from years of object-oriented programming to data-oriented programming initially. But from the other side, this switching mindset forced us to realize one very important thing, which is still important for us. Now, when we have these additional tools from DOTS, like job system, burst compiler, ECS, etc., especially job system and burst in context of what I will describe next. Now we can not rely on any general case built-in systems because, well, they're general case. They can be good for many games, but when you want to push the limits of your game, you anyway end up with something custom you need to do. And if we have those tools, we can do many things by ourselves, very performant things, because of burst and because of job system, with less effort. We don't need to write our compiler. We don't need to write our safety system for our custom job system. If we wanted to write it. Unity already gave us those tools, and especially it was important for our gameplay because we can save some time on developing tools and develop actual game. And one of the first things, as I mentioned earlier, was navigation. Which we'll discuss later, and crowd simulation, of course, because they very tied to each other.
And I'm curious, like I don't know if we can see that again on screen, but like the mass of like characters we were seeing in that video, absolutely amazing. Do you have any idea how many were kind of on screen at that point?
On this screen, let me.
I was about to say, someone in the chat said that is a lot of objects.
No, that's not a lot of objects. Initially, if I remember right, I've spawned around 15 or
way too much,
even more. Yeah,
15,
but I think
15 to 20, I think.
No. It's not 15, 50,000 units. Yep. 50,000 units. That was a test, and as you can see, bitrate just going insane. Yep, and there is more. Yeah, but that was our first iteration on navigation and some basic crowd behavior. Of course, that looks maybe from gameplay perspective, and it can look ugly, but we was amazed like what we can do even now with this bare bones, with these first our iterations, and we keep spawning them.
There's a lot of shocking messages on Twitch and YouTube right now. People being like, what?
Yeah, but it feels like fluid simulation, but it's gameplay units. And worth to mention, one of our main points in gameplay, that those units, it's not just fake units, like you have group and you simulate group as one single instance, and then just have fake visuals for every unit. In our game, every unit is friendly, enemy, etc., citizen, or some siege machine. All of them are unique. Single units, you can just pick any of them and just control just one unit and send them wherever you want. Then we said before there was our debug view for our global map. It's also one part of our navigation approach where our world split to some parts, but we'll discuss this later and I will show you how it works. The next one, after initial basic ground simulation we've seen before, we switched to other systems like projectiles, basic physics, and also tried them, like how we can handle this. Here you can see those spawning arrows, more arrows. Yep. And one of the final global systems was city simulation, like economy, disease, hunger, corpses management, because when someone die in your kingdom, you should bury them, not just leave on the ground. Yeah, and if you will leave them on the ground, they will arise and came to you, but as undead zombies.
Dave H says, so many arrows, it will block out the sun.
Yeah, but if you look at shadow, yeah, but if you look at the shadow, it's completely opaque.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and because we wanted to have pretty detailed simulation in context of resources and city life cycle, like your people, your workers carry resources from point to point, not like it's magically appeared in your UI. They go and cut trees, go to lumber mill, and transfer this trees to logs, and then they move them to storage. Then there was a couple of local conferences, and one of them was Unity Developers Day, where we first presented not just videos but actual gameplay, and people can try where people can try and gave us valuable feedback, because when there's not a big team working on a game, and when you do this for many years, your eye can be blurry after some time, and you need some feedback from outside, from people who see the game for the first time. Yep. And we got pretty warm feedback, I would say. People loved our visuals, first of all, because it was and it is right now looking pretty cute in my taste.
I love the stylized aspect as well. I think this is one of the most appealing aspect of the game. It's really approachable. I think people from any age can see themselves playing that.
I agree, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and one thing I like in it, it's like, it's not like a generic default low poly style. It's sort of mixed. It's low poly, but that's stylized low poly, and that's our artist who made this beautiful look. And then, as Andrei said, in February 9, 2022, and it also was his birthday, we released our game in early access. And after this release, there was funny thing. We were on built-in render pipeline in context of graphics and visuals before early access release, and we were on entities 0.17.
17, yeah.
Yep, 17. And then right after release, when whole our team went to short rest after hard work, I've decided to switch us to Unity, to entities 0.51, and with this, as Unity dropped built-in render pipeline support from this version to URP migration, and yeah, we've switched to the new version of entities and URP within a month, I believe. Yep, when everyone came back, our game was already on latest at the time Unity version, and we still with diplomacy is not an option on 0.51, because 1.0 version have some breaking change for us. It's deprecation of runtime conversion, and we heavily rely on it, heavily relying on addressables in this game. And we decided like, okay, we can stop here for this game and we will use entities 1 point whatever version it will be for our future game. And it was, yep. Okay.
Someone in the
now,
chat was saying you can just play the same video in loop until the end of the stream with the arrows. It was just too much beauty.
yeah. Okay, let's talk a bit about if we started with migration from built-in render pipeline to
the render features.
Render features is a very handy and useful tool for us, and especially when you can mix these with dots. For example, in our Fog of War, it's render feature and system. And in a system, we have jobs, which is gathering fog effectors through entity query. It's pretty straightforward implementation. And you just... and we have just native array of those fog effectors and their properties. And then with using double buffering and Thing Unity added with recent versions at a time, recent versions, they've added thing for graphic buffers called begin write and end write, which is allow you to upload things to GPU more performant than before. You have less copies under the hood, and as a result, you can send more data with less cost. Okay, let me show you this Fog of War. Okay.
While you're sharing your screen, a quick comment in the chat that Andre answered. People were wondering if you are Eisenhorn.
Yep, I'm Eisenhorn 91 from Eisenhorn or Eisenhorn 91, depends on where you see me on Discord, on Twitter, X, or on Unity forum. Yep, I'm Eisenhorn. As you can see, there are some spoilers because this mission is from a campaign which is not released yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, we have this Fog of War. It's not like regular plane above your playing area. It's actually screen space Fog of War. As I said, in our Fog of War system, we gather all the effectors and their properties and then send them to GPU. And then in Compute Shader, we generate sort of texture from above. But then we use this in a screen space to have sort of volumetric fog. As you can see, it's not just plain, but it's just covering trees, etc., etc. It feels more like a fog, not just something hiding things from above. Another cool thing with render features we've made, it's, as you can see on the screen, there is a snow falling from the sky, and that's all is just one draw call. There is thousands of these snowflakes. You can easily change these from a snow to rain, change density, etc., etc. And again, all is render feature. And if we look at this as our settings, just a second, URP profiles. Okay, it's a precipitation render feature. Yeah, that's it. It's just simple as this. You just put this one. You have configuration of your weather for every mission, and it's also tied to gameplay. That's not just visuals. Okay. You will see the snow when there is a very cold right now, and people start to froze to death. Yep. One thing about
quick question, just before you move forward. There was a question from Dave H. I assume you're spawning the same prefab. If you were to spawn random unique ones, each with their own UI and pathing scripts, is there a point where it starts to bug down, or does the type of object entity not matter?
Well, in our game, there's mixed crowds of different units, different types of units. If you play any missions, show cheese, we didn't see them, but there is already some entities, enemies, etc. here. But let's just go to the sandbox mode, and I will spawn just a random amount of units. Yep. Okay, let's start from where this cosplaying 300, and you can see there's different types of units already on the right side of the screen. Yeah,
Dave, you read my mind. He was like, "Oh, exciting!" I was about to say, "This is my favorite moment where we open the game and actually go live and just try to break stuff."
Yeah, you can choose whatever biome you want, but let's start with the default one, warm one. And while it's loading, let's discuss things about render features. One point, we love them, and especially in the latest versions right now with render graph, it's customizability of graphics, and they just give you more opportunities to make cool things easily than before, because, well, you could make everything before with straight compute buffers configuration, but it was very inconvenient and unorganized in previous Unity versions. Okay, you can see it's loading. Okay, it's loaded. Let's start. If you look at on the screen, I've started sandbox mode with cheats on. We can spawn enemies. There is already 7,903 enemy on the screen.
Wow.
They already there. There's different units, a mix of them. They have different look, etc., etc. It's not lagging at all. It's pretty smooth. And we can just, what do you want? 1,000 of these, 1,000 of these, 1,000 of these, this one, also this one. I want this one, I want these beefy boys, and this one, and let's go and
I
spawn
love how
them.
you can zoom in very easily and get to see the face of each unit as much as completely zooming out, and how smooth the camera movement is.
Yep, and now you
Oh
can
my
see.
god.
Yeah,
This is the fluid simulation again.
that's just 5,000 units, I believe. Oh no,
Yep.
not 5,000. It's around 12,000.
I think we also need that in the game, just spawning stuff.
It's in a game. It's a sandbox mode. You can just run and play with it.
I love it.
That's it.
I can see
Okay, I
myself
brought
just
something.
testing and see who's the last survivor and just bring two teams.
Yep, I broke something, but okay, that's
Yes.
bad. Yeah,
We
yeah,
broke
we
it.
did it. Oh, it's burst compiled probably, or shaders compiled, I believe.
Mm.
Something is compiling. Yep. Because usually we didn't see these. Oh, those guys came to.
Zeda Bomba Atomica on Twitch saying, "I'm crying. This is so beautiful, beautiful."
Okay, let's spawn some guys to protect us.
It's actually one of the most exciting moment in the game, like when you're kind of playing and you're kind of getting all those like magical effects and just going over the crowd with like those
Mhm.
big magical things. That's super exciting.
Yep.
Basically
that's-
saving on, you know, being able to just unleash that power anytime you
Yeah.
can.
And okay, quit the main menu, and now let's check the thing I want to discuss in detail. It's
But maybe
navigation.
just a second to get back to Dave's question earlier.
Oh.
Like I think Dave was kind of trying to point out that you know, how much do you leverage instantiation, I guess,
Mhm.
for your content in there, and how much does that impact the performance you're getting? And I think maybe it would be useful to separate out like the GPU instantiation
Yep.
power from the ECS simulation scalability. That's kind of two different aspects here.
Yep. From the CPU side, main bottlenecks in our game, it's not navigation or stuff. Main bottleneck in our game, it's finding nearest targets, etc. When we have all these acceleration structures, there are some limits. We're not magicians to make some infinite amount of units, but currently in campaign or endless mode, we have missions where waves contains around 20 thousands of units, and that runs on my machine in build with 40 to 60 frames per second. Yep.
Okay.
From the graphic side, there is instancing, of course, but not like default instancing, but more batch render groups from the Entities graphics package, which handles such amount of unique objects well. Like we have on the GPU some prelocated buffer with properties per entity, and when you sending the data, you don't need to send every property for every unit every time. It's just already have this on a GPU, and CPU side only sending data which is changing, and that saves a lot of performance. And in context of our game, well, in the end, main bottleneck depends on hardware. It's CPU. Because of things I've said earlier, it's find closest target with all our tricks and tweaks and requirements, and not just like gave us first closest unit. Often our units iterate through all enemies within their radius and choose between them based on some things. Like you have a healer in your game, and it needs to find someone to heal in your radius. But if it will be just first one, it could be ineffective. It could have like 90% of health, and just next to him there will be another unit which health will be very low, like 20%. And in this case, healer will choose, if we wouldn't iterate through all the units in the radius, we'll choose first one and just spend his spell with a couple of seconds of reset to the wrong unit, and this unit next to him will just die. And yeah, we don't want this. We want them to behave smarter than just dump entities like, okay, I see these, they're just getting first one. Yep, and because of this huge amount of iterations, we have some limits, as I said earlier. But from the graphic perspective, there is well, usually we mostly CPU bounded than GPU bounded.
So you're gonna get bottlenecks on the simulation scale before you get bottlenecks on rendering those characters.
Yep. With our logic, we stuck with the CPU first, and then GPU.
Someone asked, they are curious how the collision works, because usually when so many things are close together, it gets unstable.
Oh, yeah. First of all, our collision, it's our own physics. Well, we, as I said, in the beginning of the stream, having dots gave us one important thing. We could write our game-specific systems performant specifically for our game. And the physics, it's one of the systems. It's a 2D physics. It's a XZ plane. When units collide with some smoothing, with spatial split, spatial partitioning, and with parallel jobs, with a burst compiler job system together, we have pretty decent performance numbers for physics in our game. Well, I would say our game not entirely 2D physics. It's 2.5 physics. Exactly. Because when something exploded, then there's some simpler version of physics enables, and your units can just smash in a wall. Sometimes people see in a fight and asking in a stream, in a Steam, Discord, like, hey, why those enemies inside my walls? Well, because they were thrown over your walls by your explosives like trebuchet or catapult. They just throw rocks on them, and they're in opposite after exploding just go over the wall and fall inside your castle. And people thinking, oh, your physics is wrong, they just penetrate those walls. But no, usually they just fly over those walls. Yep. And this smooth look of physics, it's mostly because of little tweaks here and there, like damping, like soft collision. It's in most cases our units collide softly, especially when they're within one group, like a wave come to your castle and they all collide smoothly between each other, not like strictly, okay, I'm half of a circle inside you, I'll immediately throw you away. They just do this over time smoothly.
Someone else asked if these updates happen per frame, 10 times per second, or what?
This physics, it's not a fixed step simulation in context of usual fixed step simulations. It happens every frame, but we have sort of catch-up logic when you have a low frame rate to compensate things. Also, we use things like let's call these sort of sphere, circle, ray casting, when something fast moving through your world for preventing exactly things people complaining like they're penetrating our walls on a low FPS or something.
Doing these checks every frame is quite impressive, says official Phony.
Well, because this not take as much of a performance, it's around, I believe, 2 or 3 milliseconds for huge crowd, around 15,000-20,000 units. We can afford it.
Yeah, and that's basically where something like ECS shines. Like it's when you have that little, like doing a reduce check on a large number of units is pretty efficient for that system. That's kind of the best use case of it.
Yeah, but keep going, Manny.
No, just our producer saying, is it the right time to boot the other Unity project?
Oh, not yet. We just came to navigation in details.
Perfect, let's do it.
I can add about navigation from the business side. 2020 or 21, what are you, I asked co-founder Oleg, what are you doing right now? Sergey develops navigation. Okay, how long will it take? 2 weeks. I think that it took 10 months.
Yep. Well, eventually it took 10 months.
Every 2 weeks I asked again, how long will it take again?
2 more weeks?
5 minutes to Turetsky.
Was it in number of weeks or in numbers of story points? That's what matters.
For me, it's again spending money for development.
Game dev is on a different time zone. You cannot compare like this.
Yeah, it's a different universe.
Sorry.
2 weeks, it's 9 months. It's the default timing.
Like 9 or 10, yeah. So almost
is it
1
something
year.
new for you? Okay, there is snowy in our map, but let's talk about navigation. Well, in general, whole our map is a grid. It's a flat, uniform grid, and it's let's say hierarchical grid. We have base navigation cells. It's 1 Unity meter squares. It's default Unity meter, and as you can see, our units very tall. They're all 4 or 5 meters tall, big boys. Then we have in our in-game cells, in-game grid, it's 505 Unity meters. And if I disable debug, you will see our game grid when you're building something or have some radius effector. They all behave in this cell grid. And then we have call it regions. Let me show it to you and disable the rest of the grids. there is where our navigation performance is lies, because even if you have hundreds of thousands units, our navigation per frame will took around 0.3 or 0.5 milliseconds, not longer. And the longer you play, the less performance it takes, because of but it takes a bit more memory from your resources. But we need to pay somewhere. It's cache, which is eats your memory and saves your per frame CPU performance. Whole world is a area. Let's call it area. When every corner, every one cell reachable from every other cell, then they all lies in the same area. And by the way, this area thing allow us to let's call it to have some performance checks. Like if you have situation like of closed area, let's build something, and I will show you. It will be closed area, some square.
If you're wondering why Andre is smiling right now, is because Lurking Ninja on the chat said it will take 3 weeks on Jupiter. You need to define the planet first.
Yep, of course. And he's right. Okay, let's put some build time speed. Let's just look at how the regions works. As you can see, there is some regions grid. It's uniform, 40 or it's 40 meters long squares. Every square have a 40 meters side on all sides, and here you can see it's not square but something smaller or with this non-uniform look. That's happens when you build something and there is a blocking cells, as you can see, and they modify regions. And how it works, every region know about its neighbors, and let me
and just to recap, it's 40 meters because the region is cut into blocks of 8 that are each 5 meters, unity meters, and so that adds up to 40. And I guess
not 40. Sorry, not 40, but 20. It's a 4.
20 because it's 4 block by 4. Okay.
Yep. Sorry. Okay. As you can see, this regions I show you. Let me show. Disable this one. Yep. You see this region and its neighbors. What happens when you request pass from point A? Let's look at the units within our walls on the top left, and request some path to the right side, like somewhere between cliffs on the right there. First of all, because it's hierarchical approach, it's mix of flow fields and A star. First, we request pass through regions, through these big, huge cells, from one region to next one, next, etc., until we reach the point. Every region have on their edge have links. Link, it's a two-way portal between two regions. If two regions have link between them, then you can reach from one region to the other one and backward. Then when we build this path through this big grid of regions, then we could just generate flow fields for every region. And if we go back to navigation grid, you will see small cells within each region. I'll show you. Yep, now you should see the small cells. Every cell contains flow field vector, which just tells you, okay, you in this cell you should move to this direction. one beauty of this approach, and we took this approach from Supreme Commander 2 game, and they based this approach on some university research for crowd simulation. It's cache, because this region I'm showing have links to. Let me show links. It's magenta. It's a favorite color for every graphic programmer in Unity. This magenta links, which means if you move from this region to the right region, despite from which point you have requested your pass, it's always will go through this link, and your flow field always will point to this direction, which means you don't need to generate this flow field for every unit, for every unique unit. You can just grab a bunch of them, press right click, pass finding will get 4 pass requests, and then system starts to merge those requests. If units share regions, they go through and share link to which they go through this region. Then they all will have the same flow field, and instead of generating 4 of the same flow fields for this region, pathfinding system will do this just once and then put this in a cache, because technically this flow field not tied to request itself. Because if someone from here, like this catapult, let me show you, if this catapult in this region will go somewhere to these berry bushes on the right top, if you will see on the screen, yep, to this one, it will go through the same regions as units we've sent before, and those units could have moved through these regions like hour ago. But if nothing changed on the map, nothing's built or nothing destroyed, you will have this region in cache, and instead of pathfinding itself, movement system will check, okay, I'm in this region. Okay, I will have this combination of region and link. I will go through. I will ask our navigation cache, is there something I can reuse? And the navigation cache will just immediately return to this catapult, this flow field, not whole flow field, but current cell it stays on, and will just immediately give you direction which you should use for moving without even requesting any pass, because, well, we can go through it. But, well, it's not entirely true. There is a pass request, and it's finished, because you need to know this top level regions path before you will go to this lowest flow field navigation. But you saved performance and save time on generating those flow fields, because you only need to find top level hierarchy path, and then, well, the rest you already have. And then we unpause and we see they just go. But our first iterations had this movement, and people in the chat probably remember, if someone saw my thread on the forum, they had movement like this one. It's like stairs, like this one. If you will go just through these flow fields, it will look like this, and that's not funny. It's not looks cute or perfect. In this case, we use another spatial partitioning structure, which is...
oh, I see curves now.
What? Oh, curves. Okay. Yeah. These grids, fractals. I will disable those cells. Yep.
Actually, while we are here, quick reminder for everybody in the chat, since I saw Bante was saying, he said... is curious what the orange-yellow tiles mean. I assume that yellow is the currently highlighted and orange is the regions grid. Is that correct?
Okay. Orange is just a default grid when there is no obstacles on your map. Yellow, it's current region. How to say the edge, not just highlight, but edge. Yeah, highlighted edge of this region, because you can see it's not exactly follow the default grid. It changed based on your obstacles.
Based on the obstacle, and the magenta on top then is when you.
It's links. Magenta, okay. It's links to the other regions. If we disable borders, you will see magenta. Let me show you. You will see line within a gate, and free path to the other regions. You can see here. Yes. Also, you can see region boundaries.
And white is neighbor.
Well, yep, white is neighbor. Exactly. And as you can see, let me show you interesting moment on this side.
I think he said that he's also using the Supreme Commander white paper. It's a classic.
Yep. The Supreme Commander white paper is very useful. And as you can see, there is one orange cell here. But if you look here, there's two unique regions. Because they're separate, you don't have a path within this cell from one region to another. And because of this, one cell can contain multiple regions here. Yep. And if we will destroy this, okay, unpause. Yep. And you can see they're merged into one region.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yep. What happens when you build something or destroy something? We don't want to rebuild whole map every time you construct something or destroy something. And because of this region's nature, we can do this partially. Like I showed before, we can destroy this wall. And when we do this, we only change the region they belongs to and just modify the neighbors. That's it. And it's very performant. Like you just rebuild this tiny part of this map, and it's small map. We have maps, it's 100 or 1,000 unity meters square. Yep. And when you build something, you just rebuild this small piece. It's very performant and very convenient. And let's go back to.
I really love the view also when you're moving the camera a little bit more like in parallel.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of the top down, it gives like a very cool style.
Yeah. That's dot lines.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And okay, back to pathfinding. You remember I said about stairs-like movement.
Yeah. So how do you get it more cute and less square-based?
Yep. One thing, it's line of sight. It's also described in this paper mentioned before for Supreme Commander 2, but we not use their approach for line of sight. Actually, our units, when they move, they check path to the next visible node every frame. Like, not every frame, I'll explain later, but let's just for simplicity, let's imagine they do this every frame. You have those regions pass from one region to next, and you have those links. I will disable the rest of things to easier look. Yep, here. I've disabled these, and now show you links and grid. As you can see, we have these magenta links. Unit know its path from this region to this one, through this link, etc., etc., etc. There is a queue of links they should go through. And when they do this in movement system, what it's doing is like, okay, can I see this link without any obstacles on my way? Yes, I can. Okay, can I see next one? Yes, you can. Next one. Yes. Next one. Well, you can. Then we just pick the last one we saw and just go straight to it without using any pathfinding, etc., etc. eventually flow field using very, let's say, 25% of the time, only within a dense cities or labyrinth-like maps. Most of the time, people just do straight movement to the point because, well, we have all our block cells. Let me enable them again. All block cells, and we can check. Like there is a cool algorithm. It's a Pressenham rasterization algorithm, which is known for many developers. We can just have a line and just check if we have any blocked cell on our way, and tell to the unit like, okay, you have straight path to this or haven't. And well, initially it was for every unit, every frame, and for the eternity, like you move it here and it just checked, can I see from this position where they right now to this corner, and it was not so performant, as you can guess. Because, well, that's fine for 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 units. That's okay. That's acceptable performance. It's still above 60 frames per second. But when we spawn crowds like 20,000, then it became a problem. And then I've started to optimize it. And two things which I did and which improved a lot performance. Let me disable everything and show you only cell grid. Okay, and we'll disable the rest. First of all, for simplicity and the navigation grid, we only check this not every frame, but when unit moves from the current cell to the next one. Small cells, those small green cells, when it change position, and there is where change filters from entity component system shines, because in movement system, when unit change current cell, we change our component value, and it triggers change filter for a specific chunk, reducing the entities we need to check and reset their cached value. What is this cached value? As I said, we checking through the cells. Can I go to the position I want or can't, or there is some obstacles on my way? If you not changed your current cell, your request, your path will be always the same. There is no point to request this again and again until you change current cell. Your rasterization of your line will be the same always. Well, if some with one small note, when you destroy something, we just forcibly purge every unit cache. But well, that happens not so often, and we can afford it. This caching, it's a first approach for saving performance, and it saved us a lot of milliseconds because of this. And second one, we've reduced the range the units check. We don't check from the current position to the target position. We're just looking through like 15 nodes ahead. Well, on the big maps, when you move units from one corner to another, and if there is not much of obstacles on the map, like cliffs or water or some buildings, you will see small like band, like you have point here, point here, instead of straight movement, it will go through because of these, how these regions, spoilers, I will disable game. That's big spoiler. And because they usually, if you look at the game, I will restart this just. Moved those nodes. It's a grid, and it moves like up, like stairs, because well, it's grid. You can move through the grid only like in this
Square. Yeah.
through square. And because of this smoothing, we're looking like only 10 nodes ahead. And when you have this path to this one, it's moving straight forward. Then it's change region. The next node change its position a bit, and whole crowd start to change their direction a bit. And then you will see they just moving not through straight line, but like
like
this
a
small
curve.
like curve. Right.
And that's where you get this kind of very fluid crowd movement, which is very a good simulation of real crowds as well, I guess. Like you could use the game to study people moving in the very convoluted areas.
Yeah, and also funny thing, a part of this crowd simulation, we have very nice diseases simulation. You can just simulate pandemics. We have immunity, they can infect each other, they can heal just after some time, or can be healed through hospital, or can die, etc., etc. And when we tested some pandemics, well, it was bad and fun at the same time. We tested these in times of COVID. It's a period like we finished the system and then COVID started, and we literally could simulate how disease can spread through the crowd.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Back to regions. Another nice thing we have with this regions approach. I spoke with a RimWorld developer. They have some nice thing. It's like closed areas have it's sort of highlight. Like if you building something or moving mouse around the screen in RimWorld, you will see like it highlights some parts of area of closed areas, and we wanted the same. What it gives us, for example, let's build this. We have some closed area, like within those walls. We have some unit within this closed area, and we want to request path to the something, or for example, this unit here within, or let's choose this arch and send them far away. I want to request pass, but I've clicked to the area here, where let's choose it. Yep, to the area here within these walls. But how can we sure we can reach this without finding a top level path every time? Mm-hmm. This is where those areas help us, because you see, let me enable area view. And we will have mouse over this one. See, we have this green coverage, which means every cell on this green plane can be reached from the other cell. Then we can safely request path. We will find the path. But here, we can't go here, and we can discard some path earlier. Like, okay, I want to request pass here, but well, I never ever can go too close to this archer. Then I can discard this pass. Well, we do this logic for some civilians, but for units, we want to have another approach. Like, okay, then I want to go to the closest point here. Like, okay, if I go to this area, let me disable, select the archer in our corner. Okay, I'll disable and select. And we will send him to this closest area. It wouldn't stay on its place. It will go just to the closest area. And having this area logic allows us having some requests, like, okay, find closest point to this one. And we have some utility method in C#, and we just have one argument called area ID. And when you send specific area ID to this method, it will return you point close to exact area. not like just globally. Some there is a case where if you split map with a cross from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right, you will have 4 boundaries, 4 areas. It's just easier to limit amount of cells you want to iterate to find closest point, because, well, if your 2 areas have adjacent border, you can just limit cells you need to iterate to find a close point to these 2 areas. You don't need to iterate through other areas, which is narrowing down your search sort of filter. Right. Yep.
Someone in the chat, Bonte again, said, this is nice for like islands. Land units cannot cross the water to get to the island, so it just returns early.
Yep. It's exactly for cases like this. And okay,
that was very clear. Thanks for showing us that. And now I can see how this region system is so useful for this particular use case.
But it's very useful. It's very useful in the context of performance, because to your build this partially. It's useful in the context of cache when you reuse a lot. And the longer you play, the more regions you will have in the cache. In the end, you just will have only these top level requests for pathfinding, and that's it. And all flow fields are already in a cache.
Bonte again, great use also of gizmos and debug tools.
Oh, by the way, that's not Gizmo. Those lines and squares drawn through GL immediately.
There you go.
Like GL draw. It's not a Gizmo if I turn on, turn off. Yep, because this will work in a build. If you make a standalone build, with the development checked, you will you could have this developer panel, and you will see those regions, cells, etc. Okay, then I need to switch project.
Let's go
to show some bonus points.
He says gizmos in spirit.
Yep. Okay.
So now you're going to show us what you mentioned earlier, the bonus points of the now 2 animation system 2.0.
Yep. Some people probably already saw these. I've posted this in a Dots thread on the forum, on X also. Yep, on these 2 places. Let's talk about animations in Dots and what we use in Diplomacy not on option 1. We using straightforward approach. We have skinned units. We bake their bone matrices into textures for every animation, and have texture for every unit. It's a mapping from a vertex ID to the bone. It's like separate texture for this. This approach is nice, it's performant, but it's very limited. It limits amount of, first of all, textures you could have on one entity, because, well, you have limited amount of samplers, and even if you use not predefined samplers, but will have some manual one, you will be limited in in performance context, in amount of textures you could sample before you start ruining your overall game performance. With this approach, you don't have attachments, for example, because, well, if you have unit on C# side, you want to have its bone position, but, well, you can't have it. It's just texture, and in material, it's you need to sample this texture for this unit on a CPU, and it's really awful for performance. And for Diplomacy is not an option 2. I've recently wrote another system which allows us to have, you can see frame rate in editor here. It's 1,000 100,000s of
it was like 1,000 doesn't seem like making in the cut.
Yep, 100,000 units on the screen. And That's all skinned units. It's not textures. There is no textures at all. Oh, sorry, I will restart, and somehow my keyboard not moving.
That's the demo effect.
Yeah. Okay, but I can do this trick. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Who needs a keyboard anyway?
Yeah. Okay. All those units are skinned meshes, but not like in context of Unity and these graphics skin meshes, but our own. We have our system where in editor you can just have some mesh, some component where you can just have a field animation clip called animation clip for this mesh, and just drop down any animation you want for this unit. Just drop any animation you want to this unit to play. Well, not any animation.
Sorry, does that mean that in the same texture you have multiple animations?
Well, there is no textures. Well, this is the whole point. In this approach, there was textures in Diplomacy is not an option 1, but in Diplomacy is an option 2, we have compute shader, which is doing simulation with the cooling, etc., which simulates real skinning, and then through the buffers and some tricks with chunks and animation ID, you could get specific range from the buffer and get your actual bones position, and your vertices also have access to the buffer on the GPU, where you can distinguish which bone you need to get final bone. You don't need to calculate matrices, etc. It's already done in compute shader. And nice thing with this approach, a part of performance and amount of units we can render with this. You don't have limit to amount of animation, apart from memory, of course. But well, with regular animations, you also have this limit, because your project will contain those animations at runtime anyway.
And was that easy to do in coordination with URP?
Well, I spoke with Juicy from the URP team about how can I inject into entities graphics batch render group and sneak to the buffer and put some additional information. We discussed this a bit with him, and then I ended up with my own approach, because it will be more performant than go to the Unity one. But I've been inspired with a sparse uploader Entities Graphics using for partial uploads to the GPU. It's it gives a nice performance when you need to upload some data. It can spread these. It can upload these through compute shader without additional stalls. And back to the animation benefits of this approach instead of textures. First of all, now you can have smooth transition, blending, configurable blending between animations that you can see they not immediately change their animation. And I've tested this just side by side with default Unity Animator, and they just perfectly match when you have blending in when in a Mechanim animation. Another bonus approach is we can have attachments, because in our compute shader we built some buffer, but in addition we have it's optional. We can have on the CPU mirror of final data, and when you need to have some bone position, you can just easily grab it right now and have attachment like a hat or something like a backpack for any unit, and it will perfectly match with current unit animation. Oh, yep. I think that's it. It's performant, it's more advanced, and have more features for Diplomacy is not an option 2. It's smooth, and I'm pretty happy with this.
I love this. Good job.
Beautiful.
And I love performance of this.
Yeah. Mr. Chubby, so we have a 13-year-old okay, game developer that is wondering if he should start making his game now. And I think this stream is very inspiring for him. And he was like, how do you get that many small figures and not destroy your PC? The power of dots.
Yeah, that's power of dots.
Well, dots, but also like super clever implementations of like your whole navigation and animation system. It's not just like click and play.
Exactly.
You've been like, it's clear that you have very high level of expertise there and very clever implementations.
Yep, and our deployment option 2, I'm working right now on navigation 2.0.
Well, quick shout out on that note.
Faster, better, stronger, but yeah, nothing to show yet.
There's Bonte, so he's going to join us, as Laurent reminded me, in July for Inherited Media Shattered Sun, another stream we're going to do, another creator spotlight. And he was saying, been looking forward to this talk a lot. Diplomacy is not an option is really one of the OGs of dots. So Sergey and Andre, you're getting your flowers today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Nice
and Sergey today announced that we are working under Diplomacy is not an option too.
Well,
But,
it's early. There's just a couple of
we
people.
didn't say anything about sequel before. Anything, anywhere.
Wow. Okay, so this is an exclusive information.
Yeah,
Everybody that's
and
watching, this is an exclusive.
it's more
news.
technical preparation, like making some systems we can reuse in Diplomacy in option 2 or any other RTS game which we can make in the future.
It's like investigation
Okay.
right now. What will be there?
Yeah.
What could be there?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. And this was very amazing also, even for me that has more of a designer background. I was able to follow along and understand everything you shared, which is that says a lot about your talent of as an educator as well. And I wanted to ask you, as we are getting to the end part of this stream, to wrap up, if you have any learning tips or resources to dive deeper that you would like to share with the community. And obviously in the chat, we'll be dropping links as well to make sure people get the game and everything.
Well, first of all, it's source code because, when we started to using dots, there wasn't much of a learning materials around. And most of our knowledge we get from code itself, because this is a packages. You have this code locally. You can just read it, just read it. It's not black box. You can even localize package, which we did from time to time when we wanted to tweak some things before Unity made them. It's like for me, it's first and most important learning resource. Then, of course, documentation for packages, for entities, burst, entities graphics, URP, they're pretty good right now. Also worth to mention Unity F samples. Recently, they've released ECS Galaxy sample. It's very cool for newcomers in the dots to just grab it and see how you can make things and simulate huge simulation like ours in a space.
Love that.
You're also pretty active, like on Discord forums, etc. Like, did you find that useful? Like, did you have like lots of connection with the engineering team?
You mean Unity engine team?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's helpful because especially on graphic side, before on Burst and entities, I spoke with many devs in person on Unity Developers Day or in Unity Slack. From time to time, I bothering them with questions, and they are helping a lot, really a lot. That's very helpful. And if someone will reach to Dot's team on some conference, I believe they will definitely help you with something or explain something. Those teams like Burst entities, graphics teams, they're pretty friendly, I will say, and not to
Not
I
to
forgot
throw
this.
shades on any other teams, but those
Yes,
in particular.
exactly. Yep. Well, because I mostly spoke with those teams, and I
Right.
can say about them for sure. Yep, they are very responsive to your questions and always help me. That's
That's
pretty
nice
cool.
feedback.
Yeah, no, that team is very active, especially on from one team to the other. Sometimes they have like different places where they're more active. Like for example, some of the teams might be more active on Discord, some others might be more active on Twitter, etc. But the cool thing is that whenever the platform, when we get in there, we also get the chance to connect with guys like you and get also some older, feedback and answers from older game developers out there.
Yeah, that's nice opportunity when both sides can speak with each other, not like through support responses, but directly. It's valuable.
And people are asking, oh, what's the best way to contact them? I believe Discord, forum, discussions, those are like the three main ways to get in touch with the Unity team.
Yep, right now, forum, Discord, it's 100%.
Yeah. And Bounty, obviously, you also have our contacts directly. So if you need anything, just send us a message. Awesome. Well, that was an amazing stream. Thank you guys for coming.
I hope so.
No, you did a great job. Do you want to remind everybody about any particular dates or things coming your way soon that we should know about? We already put the link to the Steam page so that people can access the game.
Soon. We will announce something very soon.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very important announcement.
This week we will announce. Yeah, we'll open a little bit
is
information about
Door or 7. The Door 407 X page is the best way to follow your updates, right? On Twitter X.
Yes, it's Twitter or Instagram, mostly Twitter or Instagram, or our Discord
Steam community.
Yep, also, of course, it's Steam page and Steam community. Our community manager is checking every place and read every comment, and developers too.
Every review on our game, and we're trying to answer always. Yes, from my side, I wish to everybody who are in games to have patience.
Yeah, patience.
A lot of patience.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it could take a lot of time when your game could become a little bit famous, at least.
Your story, I think, is the big inspiration for that. Seeing how you started so early.
And the second thing, that if you launched a game and it's not successful at this moment, possibly it's not right time, and this game could be successful a little bit months or years later, like for our Ancient Planet or Among Us. As I remember, they had also some issues at the beginning, but after, don't stop.
And also remember that 2 weeks estimate turns into 9 months.
Yes. It's every time. If to speak of from business perspective, inshallah.
Love that.
Just believe in your team, and everything will happen.
Thank you, Andrei. Thank you, Sergey, for joining us today.
And
we wish you a lot of success. And then when the game is out, maybe you can come back and we can do a let's play together. Yep. Awesome. And I was very happy to also be joined by Laurent today, and we'll have Laurent again a month from now, I think, for our next Creator Spotlight.
Yeah, that's fun. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you, everybody, for
Laurent, we finally made it.
Finally.
Finally, yes.
And something I can give also to all the people watching us live is that, as you noticed, we've been having almost weekly presentation and lives on Twitch and on YouTube now. So there is, again, another stream next week. So stay tuned. We're going to have a Creator Spotlight on the 11th of June for Crab God. It's going to be, I think, a little bit later than the usual schedule. I think 7 p.m. Eastern. Then the next day, so on the 12th, so a week exactly from now, at the same time as today, at 12 p.m. ET, it's a Let's Dev XR. So stay tuned. Thank you again for joining us, and see you on the next one.